exciting. I don't know if you know me, but my name's Hannah, and I'm the chemistry and biology teacher at UKVS, and I'm currently in the south of Spain, and I have a lot of questions. What's the name of that mountain range? Are these species of oak the same as what we have in the UK? Why is this ant so massive compared to the other ants? Why are those birds spiraling around with the paragliders? I wonder where this goes. What's beyond that gate? Why are the buildings white here? Why is the clouds getting hazy? I suppose I could ask someone. Hey Matt. Why is it hazy outside?
Because there are like small particles of stuff that are, they might not be lighter than air, but what do you call it? Basically,
okay, that's not very helpful. Thank you. Well, that wasn't very useful. Maybe the internet knows. Okay, let's try Googling. Why are the clouds hazy in the south of Spain? Lots of breathing warnings. Dust, dust, dust. I don't know if this is very helpful. You know, I do have some books on clouds. Maybe they can help me. I think I've found the answer. I think they might be cirrostratus, not progressively invading the sky. So, curiosity. What is your curiosity? What are you curious about? Sometimes you can be curious about a topic that you're not actually interested in as far as doing, but you might just be curious about it. You might think, oh, that's an interesting thing. I wonder what that's all about. Or, oh, I've seen someone doing something interesting. I wonder what that's about. So, first up, why is it good to ask questions? As we get older, we become more and more self-conscious, and we start to think, oh, I don't want to look like an idiot. And so our curiosity gets squashed. Well, maybe not so much our curiosity getting squashed, but our willingness to ask questions, because it can be very scary putting yourself out there and saying, I don't think I know the answer to this. Now, it's important that we distinguish between just questioning for questioning's sake and good questions. You might have a little brother or a little sister who asks a lot of questions. They are constantly saying, but why? But why? But why? And eventually you'll get to the end of being able to answer those questions for them. But sometimes they might ask a good question that you can give an actual answer to. And this is really important. When you have questions in life, make sure that they are answerable. Make sure that they are questions that you think, actually, yeah, there's probably a way to figure out the answer to this. Now, how can you find the answers to those good questions? How can you quench your curiosity for knowledge? How can you find out what you want to know? So there's a bunch of different ways of answering a question, right? We have so much information at our disposal. It's really important that we figure out what is the best way to use it. One way would be you could ask a friend or a family member. They might know the answer. Now, what's the problem with asking someone, just outright asking someone? Do they know the full answer? Are they an expert in what they're talking about? So sometimes what they say might be a little bit tricky to prove to be true. We could ask questions in class. So if you are in the middle of a lesson and something comes up that piques your interest, maybe it's a concept in English, maybe you really like a poem that you have just read together, and you have a question about that poem, maybe some language really spoke to you and you want to learn more about how you can use that in your writing. You could ask, just point out, like just outright, put your hand up and blurt out the question. It can be a little rude, but maybe there's an opportunity for it. You can press the little raised hand icon in class, and then if there's time, the teacher will get to you. You could also use the chat function. So if it's a question you don't want everyone else to hear, just send it directly to your teacher. Or you can ask everyone and put it directly out to everyone. You can also contact your teachers after class if you've got a question, and they can help you. Now, it might be something nothing to do with school that you're curious about. So you could use the internet. Now, using the internet can be a bit of a dicey field. Sometimes websites can be really great, really informative. Others, because anyone can put something on the internet, can be a little bit more misleading. So you have to use your critical brain to think, does this seem realistic? Does this seem like something that is grounded in truth? Does it seem like something that would actually happen in our world? Because you've got to remember, some people can think some pretty strange things and put them on the internet. Now, I thoroughly recommend using the internet for when you need to do revision. Revision is also part of curiosity. You have to make sure that you are curious about the subjects you're studying, however you make yourself curious about it. I won't be offended if you don't like biology or chemistry, but I would be offended if you weren't curious about it. So, some useful resources that you can have for when you are trying to revise and trying to fill in the gaps in your knowledge. First up, you have the UKVS videos. So you can go back and watch any lesson again that you've already seen. So if you've been to a lesson and you're like, oh, I'm quite curious about that topic, but I can't quite remember all the details, use the UKVS videos. The next resource we have is Google. Now, Google can be a fantastic source of information, but also can have all of the information. Every single thing that has ever been written on a topic will be available on Google. So you have to make sure that your resources that you're using are actually suitable. I'll tell you many times in science that sometimes Googling the answer is not the best option because you're going to be sent down a rabbit hole of university level knowledge, which you don't quite need yet and you may not understand. So it's best to make sure that when you are searching things in Google, be as specific as you can. So include things like year 9. Or if you're looking for primary school answers, maybe you're helping your siblings, put in Key Stage 2. Something to help make sure that you are searching for information that's suitable for you and that you will be able to understand. The same goes for YouTube. YouTube is a fantastic resource to encourage your curiosity because it recommends videos after you've finished them. It sends you on a journey throughout all of these things that people have created, all of this information that you are able to access. So it can, if you have further questions, you can keep searching. There's also websites like BBC Bitesize and Save My Exams. BBC Bitesize is an excellent source of revision notes. So if you're curious about a concept that you may not have remembered, you think you might have misremembered something, BBC Bitesize will be able to help you with that. It has all of the information you'll get taught at school in. Save My Exams is great for those of us doing IGCSEs. It has loads of revision notes and exam questions to help you revise, to help foster your curiosity and making sure that you are keeping your eye on the prize, which at the moment is your IGCSEs. Another more low-tech way of answering questions is using textbooks. Now, I know a lot of people don't know how to use books properly. And that may sound silly. You might say, what? But you just open the front and you read. No, there are ways to navigate a book that make it easy for you to find the information that you want to find. So this is a primary school science book, okay? And it works the same for secondary or university or any book that has factual information in it. I'm not talking novels here. I'm talking factual non-fiction books. In the front, there is a table of contents. The table of contents tells you every topic that is available, an overarching idea. So in this video, I am looking for information on light. So I go to the section on light and I turn to the first page on light, which is page 64. So I'll flick through and go and find page 64. So here's page 64. It's the introductory page on light. Now, there is a word there that I am not sure what it is. Light source, okay? And it's a keyword. It's a word specific to this topic, and I want to find out what it is. So I go to the glossary, which is in the back, and it works like a dictionary. It will tell me what these words mean. So a light source is an object that produces light. Great. So now I know what that keyword means. If I then go back into, if I want to find out more about light, I can go into the index section and look up the different pages in the light section. And I can find that light is actually not just in the light chapter, but also it is part of plants. And you can see here that there's some more information about light. So I might not have found that section in my textbook about light in plants if I hadn't have looked in the index. Using the table of contents, the glossary, and the index with your textbooks will help you be able to find your answers a lot easier. Okay, so your table of contents tells you the overarching topics. Your glossary gives you definitions, and the index will give you more specific points wherever that concept is mentioned in that book will be in the index. All of your textbooks have this. So whether you're doing IGCSE, you're doing Key Stage 3, if you're in primary, or if you're moving on to A levels at some point, all textbooks will have this. And it's a really useful way for finding out answers to questions that you might have had. So your tasks as secondary students is, number one, I want you to find a question that you want the answer to. Okay, what is a question that you want the answer to? Make sure it's an easily answerable question, not what is the meaning of life? That is a very difficult question to ask. I'm thinking specific. What specifically do you want to know? Then I want you to think, what methods will you try to find the answer? Are you going to just ask your parents for the answer? Are you going to use the internet to try and find the answer? Maybe you could go to the library and find some books on and look up the answer. Libraries also offer ebooks. A lot of libraries will offer ebooks as well. So you can use that as a way to access book information without having to actually go to the library. Then I want you to figure out what was the best answer you were given. So I want you to try a couple of methods. What was the best answer that you found? Why was it the best answer? Was it because it was a really clear, succinct answer? Was it that the answer felt like it was subjective and correct? Or maybe it was just a really simple answer and that made it a really good one. I then want you to think which method worked best for you for helping quench your curiosity. Which method did you find the best for you? All right. We will see you in your coaching sessions, guys. Bye.